Hi everyone, well done for making it to the end of the day. It's 3:30, nearly done. So I'm the head of digital development and architecture at Legal & General. I can't claim to be the head of digital, but because she's here in front of me, so I'll get in trouble. I run a modern agile development function within a group-wide digital function at Legal & General. I've spoken to, I think, quite a lot of you today. I've seen quite a lot of familiar faces already. And I think, I don't know about you, but I've really enjoyed it. I think it's been an interesting day and met a lot of nice people, and it's really lovely for us to be here. What we try and do in our digital team at Legal & General is have a full suite of digital capability. So we have web analytics to provide us with customer insight. We have a UX and UI design team to allow us to design really customer-centered and customer-focused, user-focused web applications. And then we have web development teams, testing teams, DevOps, content teams, product ownership for our key digital assets. L&G has some difficult legacy systems, some old-school processes and functions around them. And what we've been very successful in doing is being a bit of a bubble within that and trying to put in place proper modern ways of working, genuine agile, genuine scrum, CI/CD, proper making today's technology decisions with cloud native architectures, open source technologies and so on. Couple of things about today just before I go on. So just wanted to take this opportunity to say a big thank you to Wired Sussex, to Reefer and the other team organising the event today. It's been really useful for us and it's just tremendous to see the scale of talent and digital talent that Brighton has and we just want to be a part of that, and we want to support this community, whether working directly for us or we're going to start sponsoring things like the Software Testing Clinic and Code Bar and other things like that, because we just believe in Brighton as a place to nurture digital talent. So you'll see more of L&G around and L&G Digital, and that's really just because we want to be part of this brilliant community that we've got together. And I think today's justified that, just because, as I say, we've met some really interesting people, and a lot of you guys around the room are people that I've spoken to, and I'm glad to have met you all. So what I'm here to talk about today, I mean, I've lost count of the number of interviews I've done. I worked at AOL, I've worked at Accenture, I've worked at New Look, selling slightly flammable clothes to teenage girls for 5 years, and now I'm selling pension products to Legal & General, for Legal & General. I've reviewed 1 million CVs in my time, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the good and bad things that I see now trying to recruit for, as I say, a modern, forward-thinking digital practice, and what you can do in your CV and in your preparation for your interviews that will tick the right boxes for the kind of companies that you see here today. All of us here are kind of similar in terms of our beliefs of what a digital person is, the ways of working, the cultural aspects of what makes a digital person as opposed to a non-digital person. You'll find that's quite common across a lot of these organisations, and if we can bring that out in your CVs and in your interview prep, that will take you a long way. It's a slightly apocryphal story, but I'm going to tell you a story anyway to sort of talk about where I'm coming from. So there's an old story about Albert Einstein, and he's walking across the quad in Oxford University, and his teaching assistant comes running up to him and says, Dr. Einstein, I've just looked at the exam that you've prepared for this year's end-of-year exam, and the questions are exactly the same as last year. You gave the students the same questions last year. And Albert Einstein said, it's okay, the answers have changed. And digital's a bit like that, right? That was, turn of the century physics, but digital's very similar. The answers have changed. What we do this year is different to what we did last year. And the technology that we're using this year is different to the technology we were using last year. So if your CV, as a summary, if your CV is talking about what you did 5, 10 years ago, and you're focusing on your technical skills, you're focusing on, I used this product, I used this language, it's just not relevant anymore, right? The technology decisions that you made 5 or 10 years ago are not relevant to what you did today. But what is relevant is your ways of working, your culture, your behaviours and your attitude, and that's the stuff that we need to find a way to bring out in your application process. In the digital team at L&G, we talk about we have a purpose. We talk about two things. The first thing we talk about is accelerating, I'm going to quote it, accelerate the achievement of highly secure, shippable quality for digital assets, right? So the first word of that is accelerate, right? But while not compromising the security and the quality of what we do. So constantly going faster, constantly getting more efficient, more effective in our ways of working, and constantly challenging ourselves to do so. So constantly iterating and improving and talking to each other and making sure that we're doing everything as efficiently as we can. So our culture is one of continuous improvement. And again, if that's got to come across in your CVs, you can't be doing the same thing that you were doing 5 years ago, because if you are, you're not continuously improving, you're not continuously developing. The second aspect to our purpose is set a brilliant benchmark for delivery approach, technology choices and execution. Delivery approach, technology choices and execution. So it's not just the technical skills that you've got, it's how you did it and how it turned out. Okay? And we talk about a brilliant benchmark, right? So everything you do, don't compromise on it. Try and do it as best you possibly can. And again, you've got to find a way in your interview process and in your CV to talk about not just what you've done. Oh, I wrote an Angular 4 app, I wrote an Angular 3 app, I worked with Jenkins, Scrum, blah, blah, buzzword, 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 buzzword. How did you do it? Why did you do it that way? Which bit of that was your decision rather than the context that you walked into, you know? That's the stuff that needs to come out in your CV. So 4 key things I want to highlight to you, and I'm sorry for not doing slides, by the way, but I think you've probably been sitting staring at slides for quite a lot. I just thought I'd have a chat. 4 key things I wanted to highlight to you in terms of things that I think a digital CV should include, or a digital application process should include. And I'm not going to tell you how to do this, right, by the way. I'm just saying that when you're thinking about your cover letter, your CV, the questions that you're going to ask in the interview, the prep that you do for the interview, and, I need to make sure I talk about this, this, and this. Try and remember these 4 things, right? The first thing is your technical skills and your experience, because ultimately digital is a technology-focused thing. And when I say technical, I don't necessarily mean coding. Not everyone's a developer, but your UX process or your business analysis process or your Scrum Mastery toolkit, that's all technical. That's, you know, there's a process to that, there's a technology to that, there's tooling to that. So this is important. Your technical skills and experience is important, but the important thing to show is how you keep it current. You need to talk about that you can keep it current, that you're aware that digital changes all the time, and that is built into your practices. That is your day-to-day. We will ask you in your interview process what blogs you read to keep yourself current, what projects you do in your spare time when the latest version of whatever it is comes out. How do you get your hands dirty on that? You know, we all work for companies that have already made certain technology choices. So you get very good at that technology or that process or that tooling. So how do you keep yourself current on the other stuff? So it's not just about the technology you work in, it's more about the decisions you make, the practices you follow to keep yourself current. Sometimes we all recruit for key technologies, but if you're looking for a long-term home where you can develop and continue to work on the next thing and the most important, or the decisions of today, show that, explain that. Don't tell me, 5 years ago I worked on Java 6, right? Why did you work on Java 6? Was that the right decision? Was that your choice? Was it something you inherited? What didn't you like about it? Let's talk about it. And then you can show me that you understand the technology choices that were made, because some of them will be made by you, some of them will be made for you, but you understand them and you have an opinion about them and you're passionate about them. And in your spare time, because I was stuck working on Java 3 or HTML4, in my spare time, I kept myself current by doing this, this, and this, and this. So that's how I would want you to talk about your technology skills. The second of my 4 things I want you to talk about on any digital CV is agile and collaboration. If you find me a modern digital organization that is using waterfall delivery methodology, I will tell you that they're not a modern digital organization. That is my opinion, but I'm right in that opinion. All teams work differently though, and all implementations of Agile are different, all cultures are different. Agile is a mindset codified into 4 values and 12 principles and a million frameworks. There are so many versions of Scrum, so many versions of Kanban and XP and God knows what else, right? And all of them are fine. I'm not going to stand up here and say you must use Scrum out of the box and blah, 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 blah. All those variants are fine, and they're all determined by context and they're all determined by team. So that's okay. But show me that you know Agile. Show me how you know Agile. Talk to me about it. We're about to run an advert, hopefully, if the design agency agree with me, we're about to run an advert that quotes the Agile Manifesto, but not explicitly, because we want people to look at it and go, I recognize those words. Not because we've said they're the Agile Manifesto, but because you know it and you care about it and you believe in it. And the other good thing about Agile and collaboration is to have a tool set. So if you've worked in a specific version of Agile, specific version of Scrum, or any team that reviews what it's doing every 2 weeks and changes its mind and adapts its processes every week or 2 weeks or whenever your retrospectives are, you will have a tool set. You will have a number of different ways of working that you can choose from, dependent on your context, dependent on your team, dependent on a particular challenge you're facing or the issue you're facing at any given time. So talk about it. Oh, we tried this, we tried that. We switched from Scrum to XP because of blah, 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 blah. Talk about it. Talk about what you don't like about these things, because none of them are right. They're all flawed in a certain way. But if you're following the principles and you believe in the values, that's the important thing. 3rd out of 4, we're nearly there. Personal behaviours, passions and ways of working. So show me who you are. Show me what you believe in and what you care about. We spend so much time at work. I know my colleagues better than I know my kids. No, I don't. But, you know, it feels like I do. And we're looking for people, not just for now, not just for this project, for this technical challenge. We're looking for people we're going to spend years with. We're looking for people we're going to share our passions with and we're going to put blood, sweat and tears into this product, into this project, into this technology. And we're going to live with it for the next N years. I want to share that with you, and so I want to know who you are. I want to know what makes you get up in the morning, what makes you want to come into my team. And that's really important when you get there as well. Once you've arrived, by the way, we're all motivated completely differently. Some of us just want a paycheck, and that's fine. Some of us want to learn and develop our skills more than the paycheck. Some of us want a purpose and want meaning in what we do and actually care more about the impact that it has on society or on the world. All of those are fine, but if I know, then I can help you make sure you're motivated and enjoying and wanting to come through the door every morning and come through with a smile on your face. So show off your personal behaviours. Don't see that as an afterthought. Talk about it. Talk about it in the interview. Talk about it in your CV. I passionately care about whatever that is. And don't just do it because you feel like that's ticking a box. I passionately care about pensions. Bollocks, you don't passionately care about pensions. But, you know, if you passionately care about jogging, brilliant, talk about it. And then we can have a conversation about, you know, how that keeps you energized and interested and it makes you a more rounded person. 4th of 4, perceived interest in the role and company. I have been at Legal & General for 3 years. I've already had over 10 interviewees who thought we were a legal firm just because we're called Legal & General. I didn't choose the company's name, it's not my fault, but at least read the blooming website. Right? If you're applying for a digital role and you demonstrably haven't looked at our website, you're not going to go very far through that interview process. So I'm not going to go into detail on this one because hopefully it's blatantly obvious. But if you're just ticking the 4 boxes that you need to tick in your interview prep, don't forget to look at our website, right, and know what we do. For a digital firm, for any digital firm, I would expect any candidate to at least have a grasp of the customer that you're going to be talking to, that you're going to be building stuff for. I don't care that you don't know what a pension is or how Legal & General makes money from an insurance product, but I do want you to know that the customer that you will be representing, the person you'll be trying to support, the social difference and the behavioural difference that we're trying to make for these people, for our customers, Those are the people I want you to care about, and I want you to show that from the start of the interview process. So in summary, I don't know how long I've taken. Oh, I've done quite well. So in summary, your skills are red hot right now. You are in exactly the right place. You have the right opportunity to get the right jobs. Brilliant. Brighton is a brilliant place to be in digital. You've got digital skills, you're in the right place. Make sure your technical skills come through, but don't forget the cultural and behavioural aspects. Don't forget your personal passions, and talk about why you're interested in the firm. Digital is not just a technology space, it's a mindset and a culture. It covers agile, lean startup, DevOps. If you don't know what those words mean, make sure you do before you come through the door. Make sure you understand the trends, make sure you understand why they're important, and show me that you believe in them. Show me that you passionately believe in them. I said that we talk a lot internally about achieving a brilliant benchmark and constantly accelerating while not affecting security and shippable quality. If this resonates with you, I can offer you a place where you will develop your skills, you will achieve a lot, and you won't have to compromise on how you do it. So please come and see us on the way in over there. Go to careers.legalandgeneralgroup.com. Thank you again for coming today. Thank you ever so much to Wired Sussex. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have.